How you going, people? Well, I just got back from, hopefully this wind won't be too bad. I just got back from filling up my gas cans, and I was listening to a couple financial things on the radio. So I figured I'll talk about it. So I get a lot of questions about my financial, how do I afford this great big house? If I could have got a smaller house, I would have. I bought this house because of the land. So I have 10 acres in the house. And when I bought it, it was 220 grand, I think, is what I paid for it. So I couldn't afford 220 grand. Rick, how can you say you couldn't afford it if you bought it? I could not qualify for a loan for this house. The only way I could qualify is if I put 100 grand down. And the only way I was able to put 100 grand down is because the house that I owned in California when I was working, and I was paying it off and putting extra monthly payments so I wouldn't have to pay it off for 30 years, and ended up paying it off in 15 years, putting $100 a month or whatever. I paid $130 for that house that I had. Well, when I sold it for $215, but it was paid for. So I took 100 grand and threw it on top of this, and I kept the other 100 grand for upgrades, like this barn and driveway and things like that. So that's the only reason I could afford this house. I could only qualify on my retirement income for about, I want to say 110, 115. One agency said, well, we can probably push you 125. So a lot of people see this and they go, man, you're rich. Well, I don't think I'm broke, but I'm not rich. I live within my means. I have zero credit card debt. I charge nothing. And I haven't charged on a credit card for probably 30 years. If I couldn't afford it, I didn't buy it. We're taught to live in this, which is going to get me to the point it's financial, to live in this where you owe and you borrow and you pay interest. I hate having a house payment. I'm paying extra on this house every month because I hate having a house payment. I've got no wind where I'm at. Let me move out here and see if you guys got wind. It's a little windy out here. Let me move this into the garage because I know I'm gonna, if the wind's blowing it up. Okay, so we moved this in the garage. There's Moki Cat up there in case you guys, where's Moki? There's that little shit. He won't come down and say hi. Moki, say hi to YouTubies. Moki, wiggle your ear. Batman, I see the bat light. Shut up, stupid human. Alright, so let me finish this thing in here about financial gain and wisdom and all this other crap. But let me spin this around here, so I know I'm in the freaking... Alright, so, yeah, I think this will hold me. A little flimsy. I got them packed loose because they've been packed together, and when you pack it too close over a long period of time, you can get a little mold. So it's finally got warm, so I moved these apart and separated so I get some airflow. This is new hay, so I'm not worried about that. This is last year hay that I got to feed. It's got a little bit of mold on it, so I'm going to give it to the cows next door. But I digress. So let's get back to financials. So I'm not a credit card guy. I don't like buying things on credit. I don't like financing cars. I hate it. Unless I can get like 0% interest, I don't like monthly payments. I hate monthly payments. So what's the financial thing right now? I did a video earlier, and look, I'm no financial expert. I have a lot of people ask me, dude, how did you be able to afford this house and your... Well, first of all, I went in the military when I was 17, so I got my 20 years in really early, and I was able to go to another career and start that. And I probably could go work somewhere else if I wanted to. I don't freaking want to work. I hate being out there dealing with political bullshit. I mean, if I found a job to where nobody messed with me and I just had to go out and do what I enjoy doing, then I would work. But I'm not looking, and nobody's came to me and offered me a dream job, so I ain't working. So I have my military retirement, which ain't much. It's about $1,000 a month. I mean, I know people on welfare that get more than I get for doing 20 years as a master sergeant, retiring honorably out of the military. They get more money than I get monthly. And it's just disgusting to me when I see these people getting freaking all this money talking about my government check and the government be owing me and I don't have to work, and I'm just like, you gotta be shitting me. I put up with 20 years of bullshit of the military to get my little $1,000 a month, but I get TRICARE, which is medical, and that's probably more important than a paycheck. But anyway, so financial-wise, I think I'm okay. I did a video earlier where I got in the market. As soon as it dropped a whole bunch, I was out of the market for 20 years because I lost, well over 100 grand. But I didn't put in that much. I put in like 40 or 50 grand while I was working into the market in the funds, and it went up to like 140 grand at one point. And being stupid, I was like, oh, I'm making this much money, I'll stay in there, because nobody wants to take it out when you're making money. That's why everybody loses in the market. Because they never get out of it until they lose freaking money. It's like going to the crap table and winning, and then you just let it ride till you lose. Nobody wants to take their money. I play craps. I'm not a big gambler at all, but if I go to a place where they don't have dice around here, it pisses me off. But if I go to a craps table, I'll play a couple craps, but I'll go in there with $100, and when I lose it, I'm done. And if I make money, well, then I leave. If I double my 100, I'm out. I'm done. So I don't have to gamble, and it's not a routine for me. But people don't get out of the market because it's gambling. And they don't get out till it starts going down or till there's trouble. Just like this corona crisis. People that weren't prepping, didn't have extra toilet paper, food, water, gas, whatever, money, savings. They weren't overextended. People that didn't plan for a crisis, they're in a crisis. The people that plan for this, not really in a crisis. I'm not trying to make light of it. There's a lot of people that got screwed because they had a job, but ideally you want to have extra money, extra food, a little aside. When I was working and making, a bunch of money, I could have had a new motorcycle, a new car, a new this and it. I didn't. If I couldn't afford it, I didn't get it. When I bought my other Harley, and I've always had a motorcycle since I was 14 years old. I've had a motorcycle. I used it for transportation, whatever. When I was in the military, I always had it. Unless I was overseas, I couldn't have one, but as soon as I got back, got a motorcycle. So, and I forgot where I was going with the motorcycle, but maybe it was risk-taking. Oh, buying used motorcycles. Yeah, I don't buy new stuff. I end up buying this new Toyota because I had that used piece of shit Ford that was giving me all those problems, and Ford wouldn't fix it and everything. And when I got rid of it, I was able to throw a whole bunch of down and get a pretty low payment with 0%, and now the truck's paid off. So I'm done with that. But I normally don't buy new stuff because I don't really think I need it. I tell these people out here, man, I got, guys come here, oh, I was in the military for 13 years. I go, dude, I got freaking underwear older than you. Some of them have holes, but some of them don't. So I don't want to hear about your 10 years or your 7 years or whatever. I'm not saying you didn't learn anything. I'm not saying you're smart. I go by the philosophy, when people are in a job and they're telling you how long they've been doing it, doesn't matter to me. Because that's a number. Because in the police field, there's cops that claim to have 30 years experience. And they were a cop for 30 years. But they really only did the same thing for freaking 30 years. They wrote tickets, they hid, they didn't take any major cases, they didn't want to go to court, they just want to do their time, collect their retirement for 30 freaking years. And they're running around, I got 30 years experience. No, you don't. You got 1 year experience 30 times. Okay? The people that are growing and challenging, and the 10, 3%, 1% of the people that are out there in the front, they get new experience because they're always changing. So, back to finances. And I don't know if that's going to, let me put this on one I'm not wiggling. So, financially, the market right now, I told some people I got back into it because I was out of it for a while, and I got out of it as soon as I broke even because it really dropped, and I went, oh man, it's going to go up. This is a good time to get in, this coronavirus. It was when it was first starting, nobody really knew. It was like the flu, there was no talk of shutdown or anything like that. So I was like, man, the market dropped like thousands of points. Shit, I'm going to buy low, and it's going to go up. And it did. It went up. And then, as the thing changed, and they started saying, oh, it's really worse, and oh, we don't have a lot of ventilators, and oh, Italy, all these people dying. Then, the market started getting worried, and it started going back down. So I was like, you know what? If they're talking lockdown, I'm pulling out. when I pretty much broke even on what I put in, I pulled it back out. I said, screw this, I can't afford to lose what I have. So I pulled out, and I'm not in it. And so I've been listening and reading, and I kind of do research on shit before I usually do it. And talking to financial or listening to financial guys and reading and doing some research, the financial market right now, and whether you want to be in gold, silver, bonds, the U.S. stock market, international stock market, whatever you want to invest in right now, it's a risky market. You could get lucky, and you may pick the right thing, and I got all these people, man, you buy this right now, you're going to be rich. And I remember when Google came out, I know a lot of people are like, man, Google, that's only been around. When Google first came out, I was like, man, I love this company. They're freaking great because they were about freedom, they were about searching, they weren't about ads. They were just really good when they first came out. And I wanted to buy stock, and everybody advised me not to. It was a fad, the internet will never take off. It's big now, you're going to lose, and I didn't do it. And I kicked myself in the ass for not going with my gut. But, I mean, that's what you do. So, when you're playing the market, you're gambling. And I'm not a big gambler. Now, financial-wise now, what should people be doing? Man, I think we've got a pretty bad situation going. Now, I know Trump's Mr. Positive. And when Trump first got elected, he bombed somebody. I can't believe who he bombed. Syria or somebody. He did something. He bombed somebody, and I trashed him. I did a video, told him he was being big Trump, being a fool, and I trashed him for bombing when he shouldn't, and I don't think he had to, and it was bullshit. We didn't need another war. And then whatever the hell happened, I can't remember now. But now when I protect Trump, when I bash Trump, everyone's like, yeah, good. Now when I'm saying, look, man, Trump's the best we got, and he's doing a good job, you need to cut some slack, this is a major thing. Oh, you're a fool, you need to wake up, you don't know what you're talking about, he's like, whatever, people. Look, I don't ask you to believe what I believe. I share my opinion. If we're like-minded and you can learn from me, great. I learn from a lot of people in the comments when I read them, and that's cool. But the market right now, to me, what I don't think people really realize is, a lot of people are like, well, they shut down the economy and then come back. First of all, we're in the shape we're in because of who? Raise your hand if you think it's China. You're a big dummy. Raise your hand if you think it's coronavirus. You're a big dummy. Raise your hand if you think it's Trump. You're a dummy. Maybe you're right on Trump a little bit, because who's to blame for this is government. Rick, you can't blame government. They didn't know when they're our friend and they're perfect and we love them and they give us free stuff and look how they're helping us. You're a freaking idiot. We're in the problems we're in because of government. Government has made our economy based on their freaking help. They have made our economy based on, we tax the shit out of people that work hard and we redistribute it to the sludge and the leeches of society, and we give it to them because of their special class or because we're nice or to show that we're not this or we're that or we don't want to be called a name. So we take from people that work and save and make the economy and we redistribute it in the name of government giving away free shit. Government is what's made our economy fragile. Government is what's made this crash happen. Now, a lot of you people are going to be idiots and go, well, no, Rick, government came in and they're sending us $1,200 and they're bailing out businesses, and they're not bailing out anybody. Government can't help anybody succeed. They can take from someone else and give you free shit and make you think you're succeeding. But when government picks winners and losers, they're basically just promoting government flunkies that support them. It's a scam. Government is the problem. And I don't know how to get people to understand that, because I still have people who are saying, you're just anti-government. You just don't like government. You don't understand. Government does good. We need government. You're a freaking idiot. We did fine in this country before there was a federal income tax. We did fine when government was small. We did better. We grew into the greatest freaking power that the world has ever seen when government was small, held in check, the Constitution was followed, the politicians feared the people and the Constitution, and they knew that they would be held accountable. That's when this country became great. The whole time that we've been going to shit is when government got big. Government said, we're going to help you. Government programs are saving people. We have all this government. Government has grown, and they now, employ probably almost 50% of the freaking market. Now, I know that number's exaggerated, but they have too many government employees. Why is that good and why is that bad? It's bad because government doesn't produce anything to make money. They only take it from others. It's good for government to have a lot of employees because then they can scare people that, hey, when everyone else is out of work, we're still paying you. You're still our friend. We give you a good retirement. We help you and save you. When government is too powerful and they have that much control, they end up taking over the civilian and the free market. When government controls a free market, that's your way to communism. That's what government wants. They want to control everything. They want to control your guns. They want to control your speech. They want to know what you search on the internet, what you can read, what you can't. We're going to promote businesses that agree with us, like YouTube, Facebook, YouTube. We like their liberal policies. We like that they shut you conservative, gun-loving patriots down. And we love that they talk about 14 bathrooms, promote rainbow flags, and promote idiots not knowing what bathroom to use. We like that. So government helps picks winners and losers. That's why our economy is in shambles. People are like, well, Rick, they're saving the economy. They're not saving anything. Every penny that they're giving to businesses to bail them out, to save them. If that was good, why do we pay taxes? Why doesn't government just say, don't worry about paying taxes? We're going to pay everybody everything free. We're going to pay all the fire department. We're going to pay the police. We're going to pay all the cities. We're going to pay all you businesses that have problems. We'll give you extra money. We're going to raise the minimum wage to $40 an hour so everybody can do great. And don't worry about taxes because we'll just write a bill and say, we're funding taxes for the next 10 years. Why doesn't government do that? I mean, that question is just, how can anybody who supports government spending, bailouts, money, free shit that the government is doing now to this economy, if you can't answer that question, then you are a freaking idiot. The government can't do that. Why, Rick? Because they don't produce or make money. They print it. They steal it from others. They have this virtual money, these virtual fake checks. They flood the market with money that they shouldn't have, that they don't have, that they didn't make, that they didn't even steal from. They're giving us money they haven't even stole from us yet. Guess what? When the wolf comes home, there's going to be a party. I'm telling you, it's going to fail. And I hate to say it to people like, oh, the U.S. is too big to fail. It's like Boeing, they're too big to fail. Government's got to give them $1 billion. The banks, they're too big to fail. Government's got to give them a bunch of money. State governments, city governments, they're too important. We can't let them fail. The government will bail us out. The government will come in and save us. Man, the government is why our economy is so attached to government failure. Government doesn't succeed at much. I mean, very little. Hell, I can't even think of something they succeed at. If they do succeed at it, it's because they throw an inordinate amount of money behind it, like our military. We got the best military. We have the most highly paid for military. Technology, advances, support. We have a huge military budget. That's why we have a good military. If you throw enough money. But you know what? That's being diluted. Because they've got into this social programming. We got to have the first woman ranger and the first woman pilot and the first woman this and the first transgender ranger and the first transgender special forces and the first woman Navy SEAL. So even now, they're diluting what used to be the best in order to make it what the liberals call equal, fair, progressive, accepting, loving, hugging, intolerance. And when you get in all that bullshit, you give government the power to pick winners and losers, to lower the standard, to say who you have to hire, who you have to fire, who you can't fire, why you can't have these standards, why you can't do this. Government is the problem with this economy. And anybody that thinks that it's a good thing that government is passing these billion and trillion dollar bills and giving out free money, you just don't get it. The $1,200, I ain't got my $1,200. I don't know if I'll ever see it. But if I get my $1,200, guess where it goes? I just got my freaking tax bill from the state of freaking Texas for my property tax, and they went up, I don't know, $1,000 or more. So whatever I get, the government has already decided how they're going to get it back. And that's what people don't understand. They take back tenfold. Remember, what the government can give you, they can take away from you. What the government promises you, they can lie and say, sorry, we don't care what we said, it doesn't matter. That's why anybody that thinks the government taking over health care is a good idea, you're crazy. Talk to anybody in a place where government runs health care and they said it's horrible. Long waiting lines. It's like going to the post office. You got employees that don't give a shit. You got a bunch of quota hires that they get paid for doing nothing. They're hired because of the social experiment. They work for the government. They can't be fired. They have no freaking standards. And guess what? Service goes down. People wait. Long lines. Lack of service. Next thing you know, government's like, oh, we got to cut budgets. We got, you know what? We got too many people working in the post office. Every post office I've been in has 10 or 15 freaking spots, and there's 1 or 2 people working. But yet they make it when they came out. Woo, look at all these. And somebody's going to come to Rick, the post office private funded. You're full of shit. In the last bill, the post office just got $1 billion write-off or some shit. So the post office is not privately funded. They may say that, but without government, the post office fails. And when government helps a business from failing, the government owns it. And all these people who are taking money, guess what? Government owns it. Well, Rick, why is that a bad thing? Because then they can't fail, they'll print money. You don't get it. They don't print freaking money. They don't have money. They're giving people money that they haven't even stole from us yet. When we pay our taxes and they steal our money and they give it to all these freaking foreign aid and this and build these basketball courts in a place where it gets burnt down, or we got to rebuild this urban area or that area, and we need to help the people that don't help themselves, and we need to spend money on stupid shit so they can study the freaking mating habits of a butterfly for freaking $1 million at some college. They're spending all that money that they don't even have. They've stolen it. And now they're just printing money and they're giving it out, and people think it's a good thing. There's actually people, now that Texas opened up, there's businesses that are calling their employees and say, we're about to open, we need to come back to work. And you know what they're being told? I lose money if I come back to work. I'm making more money at staying at home, getting unemployment, plus my $1,200 check, and the government says I don't have to pay rent for 3 months. Why the hell do I want to go back to work? So now you have businesses trying to reopen and their employees don't want to come back. Why? Because government is paying them more than employee. How are they paying them, Rick? They're paying them with the property taxes and salaries and shit taxes they're going to tax this business, which they're not going to have now. That's why I think the huge crash of this economy, people just don't see it. I know Trump's saying we're going to bounce back, it's no problem, it's going to be great. I don't believe that. I think a lot of businesses have just figured out, you know what? We don't need this big office space. We're still around and we have all these people at home. Why don't we have less people working at home and I don't have to pay rent for this place? Guess what that does? Trickle-down effect. The real trickle-down effect. Not when government says trickle-down. We're talking about the real trickle-down for economy. When businesses stop needing business space, guess what they do? They don't pay rent. Guess what the people who own that building that relied on that rent? They have to pay property taxes. They got to sell the building. They got to default on their loan. The banks that funded that building because the person said, I can rent it to this business, and the business we're renting, now they can't afford a payment. Now they foreclose, and now that bank goes in default. Now the banks own all this property that they funded, and they can't sell it because nobody wants to buy it. Why don't anybody want to buy it, Rick? Well, because they can't use it for any damn thing. And that's just one area. I mean, when people start working at home, guess what? They don't drive. Guess what happens when people don't drive? Government can't get their taxes for pulling you over and giving you a freaking ticket. They can't get their toll tax. You're not buying as much gas. Government gets a lot of taxes from gas. Now that tax base is going on. Government is losing, and they don't see it, a huge tax intake. They've already said on the radio, expect higher taxes next year in Texas. We can't afford all this lack of tax base because people are staying home. They're not eating out, no taxes. They're not driving to go eat out, no taxes. They're not driving to work, no taxes. They're not at work paying property taxes on the buildings that they're at, no taxes. They're not going out to eat for lunch while they're at offices, so all these places that have food places around these big places where people usually work are not working, so all those places are going to close. And now people are going to be having these big gatherings about, well, let's have a meeting, let's have a company, let's have a corporate dinner, let's have a catering. That's just all going away. and it ain't coming back. People may go, Rick, it's a farce. The coronavirus will be back to normal tomorrow. I don't believe that. I could be wrong. I'm just telling you, I don't believe that. I think people are nervous. This has woken a lot of people up. I think a lot of things good came out of this because people are finally waking up. Suddenly those crazy prepper people that used to put money aside and have money and have extra stuff and have guns and ammo already instead of waiting in freaking line and then government saying we're not running background, sorry you can't buy a gun. Instead of waiting for the crisis, those crazy prepper people suddenly aren't so crazy. And I'm putting myself in that group because everybody says you're crazy, you're wasting money, you're never going to use that. You know what? Maybe not. You know, maybe not. But in a situation like this, it wasn't a crisis for me. I mean, I can't go out and eat. I can't go to some places I go because they shut down. I ain't worried about gas. I ain't worried about food. I ain't worried about toilet paper. I ain't worried about guns, and I ain't worried about ammo. So, and with guns and ammo, I can go out here and I can feed myself. So, I mean, being self-sufficient gives you so much power. And the government doesn't like pesky citizens feeling self-sufficient. Government hates when the pesky citizens feel they don't need government. When people wake up and go, man, government's just a freaking hindrance. Without government, I can do more, I can make more, I can keep more of my own money, I can be more self-sufficient, and I don't have to depend on them. That way, if I don't depend on them, they can't tell me what to do, they can't impede in my life, they can't screw with me. Once people wake up and realize that, man, government's like, shit, now what do we do? Now what? How do we get these pesky citizens back relying on us? Well, if we take their guns, then they'll need us because we'll be the only ones with guns that can protect them. And then if we take their ability to drive by making a driver's license mandatory, and we take their ability to drive, now they can't get to work. Well, now what? Now we can charge them to give them a license so they can drive and go to work. And now we can tax their gas, and we can tax their car, and we can make them register their car, and we can raise their property taxes, and we can... So, I mean, look, government is the problem with this, and people are wanting to blame Trump. Granted, he's part of government. He's in charge of one part of government. Everyone's, Trump's in charge, it's his fault. Trump's only in charge of the executive branch. Okay? The legislative branches, you freaking idiots in Congress that have been up there for 20 and 30 years. That's the bigger problem. Those 450, whatever hell, how many idiots there are in a group, those people can hold any president in check if they want to. But you got to have the right people up there. If you got the same idiots in there that's up with the president, then you can't hold them back. Look how much the libs have stopped President Trump putting America first. They want open borders. They've done everything they can to make America last and screw you pesky tax-paying Americans. It's all about everyone that wants shit free and wants to come here. Who's going to pay for that, Rick? Who's paying for unemployment? The government. Who's paying for illegals coming here getting on aid? The government. Who's paying for housing assistance? The government. Who's paying for home care, baby assistance? The government. Who's paying for WIC and special food for hungry children? The government. Who's paying for free lunches at school, Rick? The government. So government is making everybody dependent on government. Therefore, government can say, we need to take more taxes and more money from you tax-paying citizens because look at what we do. We get to pick winners and losers. We get to spend your money the way we want to, not the way you want to or how you can spend it. It always kills me how somebody can say, give me your money because I can spend it. Same way with church. Churches are the same. The Catholic Church, absolutely worse. Money, 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 money. Money goes to the Vatican. Money goes to their lawyers for molesting children. Money goes for their big, fancy, lifetime retirements. Money goes to pay a retirement for the priests who were caught molesting kids, and they move them. They have a retirement, and they pay for their food, board, room, and a salary. All that for molesting a kid, and people are still out there giving the church money. The only difference between church and government is government takes it, and the church kind of guilts you into giving it or you'll go to hell. So either way, they're both taking money from idiots because they think they can spend it better than you. So, look, the economy is, I think, heading for a huge crash. And I don't think it's going to recover like Trump says. I mean, who thinks that people will be like all these businesses who have just figured out, I can't make it. If the government can come in at a slap of the moment and go, you're shut down for 2 weeks or a month. you can't run your business. Why the hell do I want to bust my ass, live paycheck to paycheck, pay my employees, try to build a business for years to get a group of people that come there, get loyalty, get support? Why do I want to invest all that effort and time if the government can come in and go, you're out of business, we're shutting you down for a month. Well, we're going to send you $1,200, but you're out of business. And we'll let you know when you can reopen your business. That's communism. That's government controlling the free market. That's the opposite of a free market. The free market, government stays out of it. You guys make a living and do your stuff. So, look, I think the economy is in for a huge crash because I don't think people are going to go back to work. Companies are going to do business different. They're going to be doing it online. You're not going to be traveling. Gas isn't going to be used as much. Cars aren't going to be needed as much. People aren't going to need clothes as much because they're not going to work. They'll be working at home. They'll be running around in their pajamas or their holy jeans or their holy sweatshirt. Nobody's going to go out and buy clothes. That's another market that's going to be affected. So then we're not going to have employees there. And when you lose employees, now they're not paying freaking income tax. And when they're not paying income tax, the government says, we need more money. How are we going to get this money? All the businesses are closing. How can that be? The government just came in and saved everybody. If you get anything out of this video, just ask this one question. If government can suddenly come up with trillions of dollars to help now, why can't they just pass bills and say we're doing away with taxes and we're doing away with all money that we need to take from you? We're just going to print and pass bills to where nobody ever has to pay taxes again. If they can do it now for this and you think it's a good idea, why can't they do it for taxes and all bills and all problems? And we'll just throw lots of money at all problems because government will come in and save us and they'll just pass these bills and they'll give us all this money. Why can't they do that? Because it don't make damn sense. It's wrong. And we're going to get screwed in the end and people don't want to, wake up. Is Smokey awake yet? Where's that crazy cat? He's like, Dad, I've been listening to you yell for an hour. What the hell are you talking about? He goes, just make sure I got some cat food. Mokey Moke, he's a good little kitty cat. Meow, meow, meow. Shut up, you stupid human. I'm trying to sleep. All right, we'll end that there.